Hey guys, Adam Lane Smith, the attachment specialist here, and I'm here today to talk to you about avoidant men. The number one thing that I keep seeing on this channel over and over is that you really want to learn how to love an avoidant man. Tonight, I'm speaking especially to the individuals out there, you people out there who are partnered with an avoidant person. Avoidant people, welcome. I see you as well. You're going to enjoy this conversation. Tonight, if you are partnered with an avoidant individual, are the number one requests that I've got through all the polls that I have seen that I've put out again and again on the channel. And thank you for answering those so diligently, by the way. Is number one, I asked, what do you want to learn with an avoidant person, with an avoidant partner? And you said, hey, I want to help them open up and I want to get my needs met, right? And then number two, I said, well, okay, you want to learn to open them up. Tell me about that. You want to learn to get their needs, your needs met. Tell me about that. And the number one thing you said was how to get them to open up so that both of your needs met and you are getting met and you're both fully fulfilled, right? The number one thing all of you want is to learn to build a fulfilling relationship with your partner who is avoidant without manipulating them, without hurting them, without sacrificing a goat or something, some outlandish crazy tactic to try to get them to love you, right? Love spells and all that stuff. You guys are looking for practical tips on exactly how to get them to open up in a way that they enjoy, right? And because I'm the attachment specialist, I am only going to teach how to specifically do it in a loving, secure, authentic kind of way, right? You know that. So today, here is what I would like to talk to you about. How do you get an avoidant partner to open up to you? No manipulation tactics, just real, genuine love so that they enjoy opening up to you. You enjoy them opening up, and then you can build a deeper relationship that is sustainable, that is fair, and that you can both feel stronger is not the right word, right? Fulfilled isn't even the right word. So that you can both continue growing into a better life together in the future. The thing with avoidant attachment style is it's out there, it's designed, it's a survival adaptation that we have to survive in hard times when nobody's going to care, when there's nobody trustworthy around, when no one's going to share resources with them. It's a hard world, and avoidant people know that more than anybody because they grew up in usually harder settings, being smothered by somebody else's needs or expectations, other people falling apart, and they had to be the one to pick up the pieces, people failing them, and they had to survive on their own. They had to win on their own. Avoidant people, how do I put this? I talk a lot about how they're afraid. And I mean, functionally, they are experiencing fear, but they're not cowards. Okay. They don't go around collapsing into their fear all the time. It is a fear response, but it's a fear that is justified around survival, around protection, around not staying safe. They're not hiding in a cave, but they are trying to survive in a difficult, challenging world. So when you present to avoidant people that there might be another way of living, many of them will say, no, there's not. Have you been in this world before? Right? I get that a lot. Have you been in this world before? Have you spent 10 minutes with other people and seen what they do to each other? So the goal tonight is not to get you to pry them open with a crowbar and make them and argue them into opening up with you. The goal tonight is to show you how an avoidant person wants to connect with you. They wish there were trustworthy people in this world, and how you can show them genuinely that you are a person who is worthy of trust if you are a person who is worthy of trust. I'm going to show you that here tonight, and we will talk about that. Over in chat, good to see everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Love to see you guys all in here. Thank you so much. Does this apply to avoidant women too? It does. I do talk a bit about avoidant women. I've seen more and more of avoidant women coming on the channel. So welcome if I see you. If you're avoidant, I see you here. I do have a video about avoidant women coming out soon. A positive video about how to love an avoidant woman. Expect that video before too long on the channel. You'll enjoy that. I work with a tremendous number of avoidant women in my coaching as well. So you're out there. I get you. I'm here to help. Couple things, because we're going to talk tonight about this deep dive. One thing that we have been going over in my private mentorship, the community, the attachment circle, is avoidant people and how to manage the more hurtful people who happen to be avoidant, but also how to manage those feelings that you experience. I have a tremendous number of people in that community who have avoidant partners. And instead of going off at their partners or stewing in resentment, they come to the group and say, hey, why might they be doing this? And how can I authentically go to them, genuinely, lovingly, and negotiate with them in a better way that they will actually receive positively. And I jump in and I help them. We just had a group call a minute ago about role playing through some resistance with maybe some avoidant people. And people in the call said this was the best call we've ever had. So we're going to do more role play games like that, more role play tactics, and showcasing healthy attachment and conversation. We'll do a lot more of that. But if you are looking for direct guided support, I greatly recommend you check out the Attachment Circle mentorship community that I run. I would love to work in there with you. And you can get a whole year of group calls in there, by the way. 100 group calls in a year for one flat fee at the beginning, right up front. Jump over in chat. Jocelyn, I see you in there. Wait, is that a yes or no? Uh-oh. Yes, all of this tonight is pretty applicable to avoidant women as well, to be honest with you. Avoidant attachment fairly is avoidant attachment. Avoidantly attached people are surviving in a hard world. And it's harder, it feels harder to them than even other people, to be honest with you, because they've experienced really rough things. But a video is coming. Yes, a new video on avoidant women specifically is also coming. Jack Taylor, looking forward to the avoidant women video. Okay, I think there's a few of you out there. I totally get that. Okay. Avoidant people. How do you get them to open up? Well, number one, why are they avoidant? You need to understand this before we do anything. And I'm building a video course. I'm building a video course for how to love an avoidant partner. It is specifically geared around how to love an avoidant man. Would it be applicable to women? Arguably, the vast majority of it probably would be applicable to women as well. But I'm building a video course on how to love an avoidant man for everybody in here who has pushed in a good way. I'm grateful for your feedback. I've been gathering that feedback up on polls all over the place. So that course is coming. That will guide you through this in very intentional ways. It's even something you can watch with your partner. For now, you need to understand why avoidant attachment forms. We're going to go through this really quick. It forms because they have a lack of people in their life who are worthy of trust. And it forms because they learn that they cannot open up successfully to other people and be taken care of, taken seriously, that other people will be fair and just with them. They learn instead that other people will be unjust, that other people are unjust by nature, especially during times of stress. Again, this is not cowardice. It's not I hate all people. It is other people are simply not worthy of my trust. I don't hate them for it. I'm simply going to accept that and then live a life that is fairly a bit solitary on the inside. Most avoidant people find that they are lonely, but they feel this pull to stay lonely so that they can stay away from the harm that other people will do to them. I have categorized this as fear of harm in the past, but realistically, it's I don't want to get hurt. I don't want other people to screw things up for me. Nobody is going to care. Nobody is going to take it seriously. I have to take it more seriously than other people do. That's the internal monologue of an avoidant person, especially what I've termed more of an ethical avoidant person, right? Not the manipulative types, not the hurtful manipulative types that often do hate other people, but the ethical types who just don't want to get ruined by other people, right? So understand that that's where that's coming from. So when you try to get them to open up, that's where they're coming from. It's an alien concept to them that only seems threatening. And if you come at them with a label, you are avoidant. You need to open up. I don't like what you're doing. You need to be vulnerable to me. It sounds horrible. It sounds like a threat. To them, it is a threat. To them, it is the absolute abdication of common sense and of reason and of responsibility for them to just open up and dump everything out. I run the I Wish You Knew podcast, right? I'm the host on there. And I have a co-host who during one of our episodes, pulled in a very avoidant sort of behavior on purpose so that I could argue with them. And it sounds interesting. It sounds funny, but it was a very interesting episode about why the heck should an avoidant person have to get better when the rest of the world is untrustworthy, obsessed with feelings, and fully unreliable. Why would I ever open up to these people? It's a great question. To get an avoidant person to open up, the number one thing you have to actually do is become a person who is visibly worthy of trust. And that will shock them. Keep in mind that most avoidant people are, the right word is not quite hyper vigilant, but very vigilant about the people in their surroundings, very sensitive to changes, sensitive to people's moods. It has kept them from disaster in the past by tracking other people and their stress levels. to see who's going to blow up next. And so they will be very aware of you and your behavior changes. So the number one thing you need to do, and I work with coaching clients on this all the time. I have very anxiously attached partners come in, and the first thing I tell them is you must, number one, master self-soothing. You must master self-soothing, where you are truly in control of your emotions. Not that you don't have them, but you are in control of them, so that if you have them, you can recognize it, step back, say, give me a minute. I'm realizing that I'm emotional. I'm going to step back. I'm going to take care of this. I will come back and I'm in a better place to have this conversation. When you can do that and then legitimately come back at a calmer place, when you don't make your feelings their problem, when you can tell them that you are having a feeling, but then talk to them about what that feeling is telling you, and then and question whether that feeling is legitimate or not, and then what is underlying the problem. When you can have a reasonable discussion with them that is not about those feelings, and you are self-disciplined and self-governing in those feelings, you become a safer person that they can actually start to trust. They'll be astounded that you're taking ownership of your feelings, that you are disciplined in your feelings, that you are self-policing and self-soothing in your feelings. Those are good to see you. Just stop by, headed to work. Great. Love to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting the channel and being a member. Everybody out there, if you want to ask questions, you get priority chat, priority comments at the end of this section. I'm going to turn on members only chat, by the way. If you have specific questions you need answered, or if you just want to support my work and help me continue teaching about avoidant attachment and love and care and great connections and families, click that join button right there. You can support the channel. You can join the inner circle. There's a lot of great ways to join this, and I'd love for that help. So thank you so much. Who's self-soothing? The person trying to connect with avoidant. Yes. So if there's an anxious person, they must learn to self-soothe. Again, this does not mean not having needs, you guys. It does not become a robot. It is not about never having feelings. It is about disciplining yourself so that you don't overwhelm them with feelings. Let me give you an example. I had a male coaching client come in who had avoidant attachment style, and he didn't fully understand where it came from, because he said, I wasn't hurt as a child. I wasn't harmed as a child. Can't use the A word here, but I wasn't harmed as a child. My parents are still together. My dad is pretty good, and my mom gave me everything I needed and followed me around all the time, meeting my needs. And I said, well, wait a minute. Let's talk about that. Your mom followed you around constantly, meeting your needs. Tell me about that. He said, well, she was a pretty nervous lady, and she was very, very focused on how I felt and always wanted me to feel good. And I had really had to make her feel happy that I was happy a lot. I had to make her see that I was happy all the time. Well, wait a minute. That's smothering. You can't spell smothering without mothering. That's smothering. So you were responsible for her feelings all the time. Whatever she did, you had to be really happy. However you felt, you had to put on a happy face, and you always had to manage her feelings for her. That sounds exhausting. He said, yeah, it was. I was just grateful to get away from her. And I felt like a jerk because she did everything for me, but all I could think about was getting away. And then now he had dating troubles. Now he had a hard time being in romantic relationships. Now, if his female partners would ask him questions and have feelings, he'd get nervous, and he wouldn't escape or cheat on them or anything, but he'd get really bristly and nervous and try to pull away and get away from the conversation. He had a lot of nervous anxiety on the inside whenever they'd start feeling. So that right there is enough for somebody to develop really some intense avoidant attachment that can make dating and romance very difficult. Keep that in mind. So again, it's not having feelings. It is being self-disciplined, even owning up and saying, hey, I know I'm having an emotional response right now. Forgive me. I'm going to get through it. Don't worry about it. We'll handle it. And when you do that, here's what's amazing. Most avoidant people, as long as you take some ownership, they'll make a choice to step in and assist you anyway, because they see you doing the work. So they know they won't get trapped in it. So they're willing to lend you a hand. They don't want to carry the entire load for you. But if you take the bulk of your responsibility, they usually will help out, because they're just grateful that somebody somewhere is willing to take ownership. It's pretty amazing. So number one, if you want to get an avoidant person to open up with you with no manipulation tactics, you must become a person in this regard who is worthy of trust. So being worthy of trust, self-soothing and managing your own emotions, having that emotional discipline. that especially ties in. There's 4 levels of trust that I teach. Most avoidant people don't understand how to trust others at all. So I teach the 4 levels of specific trust and how to go through those. I teach those in my mentorship community, the attachment circle, all the time. And for some of you members who are in chat right now, we probably should go through those again because it's been what, 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks since we went through the 4 levels of trust. Let's do that again here really quick. Then maybe in our next call, we'll run through those 4 levels of trust again. But join the community. If you guys are looking for help, join my attachment mentorship community, the attachment circle. I will mentor you for the next year and help you build incredible relationships, build secure attachment, learn conflict resolution. You can practice it together in the community. So give that a thought. The 4 levels of trust are incredibly important when you have avoidant attachment style or when you're trying to love somebody who has avoidant attachment style. Okay. Extremely important that you be able to do this. Let me ask over in chat. My dude is fearful of avoidant. I'm anxious. Cool. In chat, drop me something in chat if you are the partner of an avoidant person, or if you think you have avoidant attachment. Not calling you out, no pressure, but put like partner or put like me, right? Me or partner. Which one of you guys? Which one are you? Throw that in chat and let me know. I want to see how many partners versus how many people who are avoidant or will own up to be avoidant. I totally get it. You don't want to expose it. I totally feel that. Partner. Me. Thank you, Will. I am very cool to see that. Thank you for taking ownership. That's cool. Bex, me. Okay, couple of you. SoCal partner. Lots of partners. I figured it would be that way. James Renslow, good to see you, James. Thank you for supporting, and I appreciate you. You as well. Okay, I got that. Those are single. Okay, well, totally get you both. Recovering avoidant, I am coming both. Okay, good. So number one, good things. I've got a video course coming for partners of avoidantly attached men. If you want to learn to love an avoidantly attached person and help them open up, get your needs met, help them get their needs met, and build that intimacy, I have a great video course coming just for you guys that I've built for you, kind of that we've built together through the conversations that we've had. That is coming very soon. So stay tuned for that. It should be a course you should be able to also watch with them, so it should help that. If you're avoidantly attached yourself, I have a lot of ways to help that. Drop me an email, support@adamlanesmith.com. Go on my website, adamlanesmith.com. I can help you stop being avoidant if you want to. I'm not here to make you. It's number one. If you want to love an avoidantly attached person and make them feel safe, you must be self-policing and self-soothing. I'm looking over here at a list I have over here of how to become self-soothing from some clients I worked with earlier today. So become self-soothing. Number one, then they can trust you. They can relax a little bit in your presence. If you become stressed out, they will not have to worry about you being an awful person. That's the next piece, is you must live your life to both a specific code of conduct and some sort of long-term goal that they can predict. You must be predictable and consistent. When you deviate from that, they will get nervous. But if you continue, you self-soothe so your emotions don't get in the way, and then you self-police back to your core values and your core goal. If you can do those things and be self-owning, self-policing, self-governing, self-disciplining around managing your own emotions, and then continuing to pursue an honor code or a code of conduct that you value, values and principles, or a long-term life goal. And the number one, they don't have to stress out about how you're feeling because your feelings won't overwhelm them. It won't become their problem. And number two, they can always predict how you're going to act, and it's a way they can actually respect and admire. These two pieces make you eminently trustworthy in a way that most avoidant people, frankly, have never seen. Most of them have never seen somebody who's self-policing in their feelings. They've never seen someone who's self-policing with their values and self-policing with their goals. What they've seen is people who collapse into stress and feelings and then make it everybody else's problem. So in a world of collapsing, undisciplined, miserable people who make their life hard, if you want to get them to open up, then number one, you have to lay a foundation of trust. My avoidant people who are in the chat, I won't call you out again, but thank you for being here and thank you for calling yourself out. Again, I appreciate that. I won't hold it against you and I won't use it against you either. Let me know in chat if somebody followed this. Self-policing, self-soothing with their feelings wasn't your problem. self-policing around their values, their principles, and you knew their honor code. They talked about it and lived it, not hypocrites. And number three, they had a long-term goal that they kept pursuing and they kept coming back to it. If they ever fell off from that, they don't have to be perfect, but if they fell off from that, if you just said, hey, you're missing this piece, or you're stepping away from that. Is that what you want to do? They go, you're right, thank you, and they'd come right back to it, right? If they did that, if they were self-policing and it was not your problem to make them be good, if you saw them living consistent that way, drop me yes or no in chat. Would you start to trust them? Not even would you start to trust them. Would you be surprised to see somebody like that? Would you be shocked to see somebody like that? Would that be brand new for you in this world to see somebody that consistent? Drop me a yes or no in that chat. Earl Thompson, thank you so much for supporting the channel, by the way. I appreciate it. Glad you're here. Vital, I have some traits. I'm historically attracted to others with tendency. Yeah, avoidant people can be very interesting. I totally get that. I'm 100 times better than I was 2 years ago. I have a long way to go. That's all of us. That's all of us, no matter what we're battling with, right? We need ongoing support and help. Ongoing support and help. That's why I have the Attachment Circle Mentorship Community, a 1-year program to help people with ongoing support. That's why I built that program. I need ongoing support. I have a mentor that I continue to go back to every week, that I continue to get help from. I have multiple mentors that I continue learning from. I hope you guys have that in your life too. If you don't, join the Attachment Circle. I'll become your member, your mentor, if you'd like me to. New to me. Gotcha, James. Yes. Okay. Too many people up in their feelings. I've seen it, not towards me consistently. Good. See? Okay, over in chat. So avoidant people partnered with an avoidant. You can see over in chat, it would be shocking. Actually, chat's over here for me. Chat's over there. There it is. There's chat. It would be shocking to them for you to be self-policing with your feelings, for you to be self-policing with your values and self-policing with your goals. A lot of avoidant people have either paired up, unfortunately, or been around very, I hate this word, it's so overused, I don't want to say narcissistic, I refuse to say it, self-absorbed, right? Self-absorbed people, self-oriented is the correct phrasing. Self-oriented people. They are used to being around self-oriented people, either people way more avoidant than themselves, and they've gone over into like the hurtful, like manipulative side of the spectrum where they don't care about anybody, or people who go to the other side of the spectrum and are very anxious. I did a whole series on why anxious people and anxious women in particular are really disruptive and toxic for avoidant men. And that the series pulled some really hard strings. And I know I pulled some hard strings, and the comment sections are full of people furious at me. But what I want to point out is not that anxiously attached people are bad, but that anxiously attached people tend to make their feelings other people's problem. They do this, typically, not all of them, but they do this through nice guy or nice girl behavior. I will do 10 nice things for you, and then you will become responsible for my feelings and take care of me. You will be a parent to me. This is really the anxious dynamic. I will do everything for you, and you will become my master, and you will then take care of me like a master, like a parent, like a mom or a dad, and I will be safe with you because you will take care of me. That is, in essence, the anxious style. We talk a lot about what disruption avoidant people create. Nobody wants to talk about the disruptions that anxious people create. And again, I am not down on anxious people. I don't hate them, but this is the reality that we need to deal with, is that anxiously attached people make their feelings other people's problem. I did 50 nice things for you, so you owe me this good feeling. You should take care of me. You should care about my feelings, right? Any anxiously attached people out there willing to say yes in chat and say, yes, that is a problem. Again, you're not saying you are the problem. Any anxious people out there willing to take that on and say, you know what? Yes, that is a problem behavior. I'd love to hear that. Usually I get absolutely vicious anger at that point. So it's totally okay. I understand. It's hard. I totally understand. I really do. No judgment here. But that is what avoidant people are used to, is people who completely dismiss and hurt them, worse avoidance than they are, or people who dump their feelings on them. Remember I talked earlier about the mom who's smothering with her feelings, right? Inability to handle emotions. Yes, yes, it can be a problem. Thank you. I appreciate that. I honor that. Thank you. I respect being able to step up to that. Yeah, I do that. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. I appreciate owning that. It is hard to own that as an anxious person. It is so hard to say, yes, I do have a bad behavior, because many anxious people then say, therefore, I don't deserve to live. And that's the next step, right? That's the next step. So, if you want an avoidant person to open up to you, you need to create and foster that space where they can begin to trust you. You will be astounded at how much avoidant people will start to open up to you naturally when you create this safe zone. This is not going to be a religious talk, but I was reading this book from, I believe, Saint Therese of Avila, I believe is who it was, and she talked about in her practice. And I think she was a nun. She talked about crafting like a chamber, like a wedding chamber in her heart, and then inviting her creator into that space in her heart, and then she would prepare that place for him to relax in, and they could converse and have a relationship in. And she likened it very much to a bride preparing the wedding chamber for her husband. Right? In the old days, a woman would prepare the wedding chamber for her husband, or prepare the bed chamber, especially rich couples who lived apart or lived in different bedrooms. You prepare the room so that when he enters the room, it will be a seductive and relaxing experience. So, in essence, this is what you're fostering: is if you want an avoidant man to be safe with you, you must prepare the bridal chamber. You must prepare the chamber. And this does not mean you must be passive. You must have no needs. You must serve him. It doesn't mean that. It means if you were going to have a guest over, what do? Well, you clean your house, right? You clean up. Number one, you don't have like garbage lying anywhere, right? You usually get dressed. You dress in a decent outfit when you have somebody come over. You look your best. You don't have to be fake, but you look the best version of you typically. You play host, right? You take care of their needs, right? And you are the host, so you're fair to them and you listen to them. You actually take care of them, okay? But if you're a good host, you lay out some rules first when they come over so they feel comfortable at home. Have you guys, anybody in chat, let me know. Have you ever gone to a house and you didn't know the rules and nobody told you, like, hey, take your shoes off, put them over there. Hey, like, don't sit over there. Hey, that's where you can sit right over there. Hey, if you're ever thirsty, you just go right to the fridge by yourself. There's the bathroom over there. Have you ever walked in a house and you just walk in and they're like, hey, and they turn the other way, walk, and you're like, am I supposed to follow you? And then you choose to follow them eventually. You go in, and they say, hey, you're supposed to take your shoes off. Oh, sorry. You take your shoes off. So then you follow them in, and then you talk, and they say, no, don't talk yet. Yeah, we have to be quiet in the hallway. Oh, okay. So then you go down the hallway, and then you step into a room, and you're like, can we talk now? And they're like, yeah, what are you doing? You're weird. And then you sit down, and you're just like looking around. And then they like half an hour in, you're thirsty. Then they finally give you a drink, and then you have to go to the bathroom. You have no idea where it is. So then you have to ask it, right? Like, not a good scenario, right? Have you gone to someone's house where they haven't cleaned up and they got like dirty shoes, dirty socks, dirty underwear, like rotting food on the coffee table? If you guys have ever been like a single bachelor's room or a house or anything like that, right? Like, have you ever been to a place where it's kind of nasty and you don't really want to be there? That's the difference, right? Think of the homes you've gone to where they're like, hey, there's the bathroom. Take your shoes off right here at the door. Don't worry about it. If you're thirsty, the fridge is right there. It is open to you. Just say, hey, I'm going to get something to drink. Go get it. We're going to be in here. If you could just be quiet as we walk through the hall, I appreciate it. Otherwise, we can talk in the other room. They walk you in. They serve you a drink, or you get it yourself. You know where the bathroom is. Everything is so clearly laid out, and they're relaxed. The place is clean. They're dressed kind of nice, not super like super fancy. They're not in a ball gown, but they're dressed their best, and then they start talking to you, and they play a good host. Have you ever had that? Okay. Prepare the bridal chamber. If you want to love an avoidant man, again, it's not about being a servant. It's not about crushing your own needs. It's not about being a robot and having no feelings. It's about having self-discipline over your feelings, being self-policing with your goals and your values, and then preparing the chamber for visiting. Prepare the area so he can be comfortable. Lay out the clear expectations. I had a great conversation with an avoidant client not that long ago, and he's actually told me that I can share some of these things, so I'll share a little bit, but spare his details. I had a conversation with an avoidant client, and he said, Adam, People always think that avoidant people hate expectations, but it's not true. He said, we love expectations when they are clearly stated right up front, where the other people are like, hey, kindly, this is what I would like. This is the expectation. This is something that's going to help. Here's this. Here's what I like. Do you like that too? What do you want in return? And it becomes a very calm, very comfortable negotiation that is very clear and on the table, right? I thought that was fascinating to have an avoidant man say, we love expectations, but only when they're clear and right on the table, right? Prepare the bridal chamber. Be trustworthy. If you want an avoidant man to open up to you, this is what you must do. See, I'm pulling a switch on you guys tonight. I started this whole talk, and the topic of it is how to get him to open up to you without manipulation tactics. I will tell you the flat truth. The vast majority of avoidant people don't open up to other people because they never feel that they can. The room is never prepared for them. Other people do not seem trustworthy to them. When you get an avoidant person in front of somebody that they know is trustworthy, and when you get them to a place where they're comfortable, how do you think I get avoidant men to come into my coaching sessions and tell me every fear and every sadness and every frustration and everything in their life? They come in and they spill their guts to me. And at the end of the session, I have to say, hey, I know that you've told me a lot. That can make you want to run away afterward. Just telling you, you're welcome to come back. I'd love to talk with you, right? This is why I do that, but they spill their guts because I've demonstrated. I'm not tooting my own horn, but I have demonstrated consistency. I've been on here for like 2.5 years now. Consistency in my message, consistency in my values. I don't get on here and badmouth people. I'm not trying to steal money from anybody. I offer coaching. If you want it, take it. I offer my private mentorship community. If you want it, take that. I've got these things, but I'm also here right now helping, right? Become trustworthy, prepare the chamber. So when they come into my coaching, here's the rules right up front. Here's your privacy. Here's what I expect. What do you expect? How can I help? And then we set the table and we start working together. That's how you get an avoidant person to open up, because biochemically they want to. They want to. There was something that one of the people in my attachment circle said tonight when we were talking about some of this. They said, and it stuck with me, just even from tonight, the conversation we were having in that group. No one will ever know how badly an avoidant person wants to open up and how haunting it is that they don't believe it will ever be okay to do so. If you want an avoidant man to open up to you, become trustworthy, visibly trustworthy, and prepare that chamber so he can relax when he's in your presence. Be his peace, right? To borrow a red pill phrasing, be his peace, right? But present that safe, I don't even say safe space. See, this doesn't resonate with avoidant men as much. Like, I talk about safety because that's the language that anxious people will understand, right? He needs to feel safe. He is afraid. He wants to feel like he is safe in your presence, right? And those are the words that anxious people will understand, but avoidant men don't resonate with that. They would say, I want to feel like everything is worthy of trust. I want to feel like things are fair and above table. And I want to feel like expectations are clear and direct so that I can make the best choices and I will not be held to unrealistic expectations. I have to use different language when I speak about avoidant attachment if I'm speaking with an anxious person or if I'm speaking with an avoidant person. It is a different language set, right? Be his safe space better than be his peace. And I hear that. That's a very an avoidant hearer would hear that and say that makes total sense. Be his safe space is very much an anxious mindset because that's what they want, and that's how they can understand his needs. An avoidant person would say be his peace. It's more avoidant men who are saying, look, just be my peace. Don't be a trial for me in my home. Be my peace, right? Avoidant men are begging women to please make their home a loving place, a loving bridal chamber, so to speak. Okay. My boyfriend avoids kissing. I'm almost giving up. Typically, that's like a 7 to 12 month problem. Typically, and it's because they're not getting the charge from the novelty dopamine anymore. Sometimes that can mean they're fearful avoidant, the disorganized style, and they have a phobic response to oxytocin because being close actually scares them. It does provoke an actual legitimate fear response in the brain because oxytocin means I'm vulnerable and open, and I don't like that because now I'm going to get hurt. So it makes them beholden to somebody else. They don't like that, so they'll actually run away. So, Anna, everything we talked about here tonight, definitely things you could do to improve that. This live, guys, number one, is recorded and it posts onto the channel. So if you missed the beginning of this, I very much recommend you go back and listen to it. Very much recommend it. I do have another video on this channel. It's going absolute pop right now. It is what avoidant men need to feel happy. I also have on this channel How to Love an Avoidant Man Part 1 and Part 2. And I have How to Love an Avoidant Man Part 3 coming very soon about how to working on the language for this. Essentially, how to guide him into a committed relationship, not drag him, not trick him, not manipulate, not guilt, right? How to lovingly guide him into a committed relationship where he makes an informed decision to choose to invest into that commitment. Again, the language is different if you're speaking to anxiously attached people or avoidantly attached people. The language is different. How to get him to open up to you. The reason I had to put on the title of this video, how to get him to open up to you with no manipulation tactics. I had to put that on there because avoidant people would come in and say, how to get him to open up to you. What's this guy teaching? Oh man, I got to run away from this dude. He's dangerous, right? But with no manipulation tactics. Okay, how to get him to open up to you. That's for anxious people. With no manipulation tactics. Oh, interesting. Now that's avoidant people, right? Interesting pairing. Do you see the difference? This is the language. This is why it's so hard for anxious and avoidant partners to do this on their own. And it is. This is why it's so challenging for them. This is why so many people come into like my mentorship program and say, Adam, I'm anxiously attached. I have an avoidant husband. We never communicate on anything because it's like we're speaking different languages. We are. But here's the feeling I'm having. How do I communicate this to him? Right? I become their translator. I become their avoidant translator. Avoidant men come into my mentorship community, the attachment circle, and they say, Adam, I have an anxious wife, and I can't help her understand that I do care about her feelings, but her feelings are overwhelming me. I can't walk the line because she just thinks I don't love her. What the heck do I do? Right? It's hard for anxious and avoidant partners to really understand each other. You have to build this language and then use both sides of the language. And then what you do is you build a shared language around it. So you both start building shared definitions. Otherwise, it's completely keeping you apart. So how do you love an avoidant man? How do you get an avoidant man to open up? Again, show that you are fully trustworthy, and you must be. They'll detect if you're not. And prepare that bridal chamber for him so that he has a peaceful, loving, nurturing place to step into out of the battles of this world, right? In the old days, men would go to war and they'd come home with their armor dented and mangled and dusty and sooty, and they'd stumble in the front door. Oh, drop the spear. Oh, so tired. When their wife would come to them, right? And usually like, you're home, I'm so happy, give him a hug, wash his wounds, wash the dirt off of him. Here, I'm going to scrub you. I'm so happy, give him a hug, a warm meal, right? It wasn't always this. I get it. But this is the image that men are looking for, right? I came home from battle and I'm exhausted and dirty and wounded. I don't want to argue with somebody. I don't want to hear about how you want to know if I would still love you if you turned into a worm. I don't want to, you think I was cheating on you the whole time. Look, I have a spear wound right here. Like, this did not come from Brunhilde. This came from Max, right? Maximus speared me. Finding that place where you can be fully trustworthy, where he can trust you when he steps away to watch the home or whatever your arrangement is, right? He can trust you to watch his back. And when he comes home, he can fully relax in your presence. That's how you get an avoidant man to open up to you. Not all of them, not the manipulative type, maybe, but you know what? It makes a world of difference when you do this for any avoidant man. Okay. So, with all of that in mind, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to open up the floor for questions, and I do members only because you guys support me. I want to help you right back and support you. So number one, members, you can post questions directly into chat. Chat is over here for me. I don't know where it is for you guys. Camera's reversed. There's chat. If you want to become a member, there is the join button. It should be right down here somewhere on the bottom under here. There's a join button. Click that. You can hit support the channel. And you can pop right in. You get priority comments, priority in chat. You get these every time I do a live stream. You get to ask your questions at the end of this live stream, live Q&A portion. Hit me with what you've got. I know there's a bunch of you in here tonight. I'll roll back through really quick. Earl Thompson, James, good to see you. Old Man Hawk, nice to know what the rules are. Exactly, Hawk, you nailed it. Earl, I have heard over trust issues that make it hard to trust anyone. That's avoidance, right? And you don't have those for no reason. You have gained those for a specific reason. Vital. In resolving my anxious side, I heard a lot of covert secret contracts and the trouble these cause. I had Dr. Robert Glover, the guy who worked on those covert contracts, on my podcast the other day. I had dinner with him. We had a great crab. We shared a crab cake. It was a fun experience. He was a great guy. So we had a long conversation, though, for the podcast about covert contracts, about masculinity, about men being isolated, about relationships, and all of that anxious behavior and avoidant behavior as well. For those that wonder, would explain what that person doesn't care for the avoidant parents and they cause this behavior. There you go, old man. There you go, Hawk. Old man. You're about the same age. Thank you, Hawk. I appreciate you. All right, members, down here. What questions do you have? Oh, Felix, I see you in there. Really quick. Good to see you. Glad to see you. Oh, yeah. Well, I will probably see you in person. That would be fun. Yeah, I'm building an in-person retreat. I'm working right now with a great staff. So it will be a very polished retreat for people who want to meet in person, for people who want to share a meal, share several days. It's not going to be me lecturing at an audience about attachment. It's actually been getting in, practicing attachment, working together, and then experiencing it together. I'm going to be hiring some, I'll just say it'll be interesting and very practical and very, very much an exclusive sort of experience that nobody else will get with me at all. So I'd love to see you there, Felix, and anybody else who's open to doing an in-person retreat. Vital, after a couple of weeks of socializing more than usual, I'm beat. Yeah. I hear that. So there's a couple things with that. A lot of people think that they're an introvert, and there is introversion. It's how you recharge and what really gives you the stimulation. Introverts don't necessarily get as much stimulation from like just raw socializing. They get a lot of stimulation from direct one-on-one socializing, more quality time, and also more time apart. They get serotonin release and stuff like that from more quality, more experiences that they, self-experiences, exploratory experiences, intellectual experiences. So there's that. There's also the element of having attachment issues and becoming performative and being anxious and nervous and scanning for what other people are doing and trying to think, how am I coming across, and tracking. So it's exhausting. That's not being an introvert. That's having attachment issues. I know plenty of extroverts who think they're introverts until they fix their attachment issues. And all of a sudden they're like, whoa, I actually love socializing. Huge difference. Hawk, you remember the age I told you? I remember. I'm not far off from you, man. I got 5 kids. I've been married 15 years. I've been doing this for a long time. So we're not far off. How can I tell physical fatigue from social burnout? Good question. Are you able to recharge from the social burnout? Social burnout is, remember the burnout in the brain, what we've studied. The research shows this, is that burnout in the brain is from overusing the certain parts of your brain over and over and over until they're exhausted and they don't get a time to rest. So fixing burnout means doing the opposite, using opposite different parts of the brain and letting that part rest. So if you are socializing, you may need to spend some time not just sitting alone in a dark cave. I'm Batman, right? I'm Batman. But you go out and you do something active on your own. You take a calm, soothing walk alone. You listen to some music. You listen to a podcast. You read, right? Listen to my podcast. You read my book. You do something engaging, but on your own, right? Meditation, things like that. Intense prayer, kind of things like that, along with the meditation piece. Yoga, you can do that. If you were used to math, thinking, paperwork, then okay, you go painting, you go rock climbing, you go to a gun range and have a fun time, right? You go do something more physical and visceral that uses a different part of your brain. Test that. Right? So if it doesn't go away and you're still just as exhausted doing something else, it could be more of a nutritional issue, a sleep issue. Right now, this time of year, we're getting really low melatonin and really low serotonin from a deprivation of sunlight, which leads to low vitamin D, low a lot of things. So be aware that that's very possible. Test and see, how do you recover? If you only recover from sunlight, if you only recover on the weekends when you get ridiculous amounts of sleep, if you're oversleeping on the weekends, if you have food cravings, a lot of food cravings will usually often indicate some sort of nutritional deficiency. Keep that in mind. That's how you can tell the difference. A little different from attachment, but a lot of my coaching clients come in with similar issues, and those are some things that we have to resolve right up front to really get them the best in their relationship. So Totally with you. 100% with you. Members out there, what other questions do you have for me? This is some good stuff. Any questions you have about avoidant attachment style or being with an avoidant partner or having avoidant attachment or fixing avoidant attachment or why on earth should I have to fix my avoidant attachment? Let me know. Hence, day 2 of living the field hermit, finally heading out for food and a drive. Yeah, living as a hermit, but what are you doing? Are you proactively doing something? Are you just vegging on a couch and you have your phone in front of you and you're dopamine binging, right? Dopamine binging is not recovering from burnout. Serotonin inspiring activities, serotonin releasing activities are more what you should be focusing on and building to combat that burnout. You'll actually recover much faster. Think of it that way. You're burning serotonin, so you're going to shove dopamine in to cope. Dopamine is short term, not going to give you the enrichment you're looking for. Serotonin is what you're probably looking to really replenish. Think of it that way, Vital. Good questions tonight. What are the questions you guys have here tonight? Anything about avoidant attachment in particular? It's the topic of the night, and I'm definitely here to talk about it. I'm the attachment specialist, but with one of my friends, I was jokingly saying, man, I'm becoming like less the attachment specialist and more the avoidant whisperer, right? Translate my avoidant boyfriend for me, or what do I do about my avoidant attachment? Interestingly, I've had a lot of executives coming in lately and saying, Adam, I think I have avoidant attachment. I'm not scared all the time, right? I don't sit here thinking like I have to open up to make other people happy, but am I missing something? Am I missing something in my life? I do tend to be a little bit lonely. I just figured I had to be. I don't tend to trust other people, but I just figured no one was worthy of trust, right? What am I missing? What would add to my life? That's the question that avoidant people usually are asking is, what would this add to my life? Because if I'm going to risk opening up to people, what would be the payoff? That's the question a lot of them have asked. So guys, by all means, ask me, what would be the payoff? If you have that question over here. Video production and messaging friends from my cozy cave. Okay, so you are socializing, but from a convenient distance. You know what you might actually want to do is have one of those good friends come over and spend one-on-one time, maybe watching a favorite movie that you've seen before, having a pizza or something, or cooking a clean, nutritious meal even, and enjoy one-on-one socializing time. That might actually be something. And not socializing staring at each other, but socializing with a screen where you can have conversation peripherally. Peripheral but quality conversation. That might recharge you even quicker, Vital. Give that a thought. Any other questions on any of this? Keep in mind, if you're here for avoidant attachment, I am building a video course on how to love an avoidant man, how to get him to open up in a good way, no manipulation, how to help him feel fulfilled in the relationship with you, laying that foundation of trust and intimacy, that connection, right? And getting your needs met too, in an honest, open, connected kind of way, where you're not having to fight tooth and nail against each other. James, what's one small first step to take as an avoidant to take every day? Ooh, as an avoidant, good question. James, I will tell you this. The number one thing that I see with avoidant people is they do not have any kind of framework for trusting other people. And I teach the 4 levels of trust. I teach this again and again, like in my mentorship community and coaching, the 4 levels of trust. What I would like you to do is start measuring, even on a 1 to 10 scale, how much is somebody else trustworthy and why? How much do you trust each person in your life and why? Start mentally assigning scores to other people and start tracking why you feel that way. Okay. There's a reason you feel that way. And what you need to do as an avoidant person is start tracking helpful variables. Most avoidant people are tracking people's stress levels. They're tracking how much they've done lately to fluff up somebody's feelings. They're tracking what they might have done to cross somebody's feelings. They're tracking, but they're tracking short-term data. Track longer-term data. Who is trustworthy on a scale of 1 to 10 and why? And as you do that, what you'll find is you will start realizing more and more that maybe there are some trustworthy people in your life. What sets them apart? And then could you open up to them a bit more, right? Very, very important. Very important to start tracking that because that will make all the difference in your life. The research shows you only need about 2 to 3 people in your life that you can fully connect with and trust. Makes all the difference. Hawk, no questions for me tonight. I appreciate the community posts you've put up the last couple of days. 100%. I will keep those coming. I want to keep leaning into that. I actually really like this community here on YouTube. I love that you guys are so engaged. You have such great questions. I was looking through the commenting sections just a little bit earlier today. I was like, whoa, like the comments are like this long. They used to be like this long. And it was like an emoji or like I hate you or I love you or like a little. Now the comments are like 4 paragraphs and like Adam, here's my story, and I read them and I'm like, whoa, like you are so like real, right? And I try to give like a piece of advice, or I try to be like, you know what, I can help you with this. Email me really quick. Let's talk about this. Or, you know what, hey, thank you so much for sharing that. Tell me a little bit more, right? I want to learn about you guys. I love those moments. And I thank you so much for trusting me with that. You guys are awesome. So you're a great community. Thank you for being here. Uh, Ways to find me. So obviously all my comments on here. If you guys are watching this later, I still read the comments even on these. So 100% I'm here. If you need to reach me, if you have questions and you don't want to share them in public, totally get it. Support at adamlanesmith.com. Support at adamlanesmith.com. That's my email. Pop it in right there. I will read it. Come straight to me. Let me know. I'll read your questions there. If you want some direct assistance on this, 2 ways to do that. Number one, I have direct coaching. I can coach you personally through this in some very, very focused one-on-one sessions. Some people are looking for more value for their money, and they're looking for more to spread that out instead of one concentrated burst. They want a whole program. So 100 group coaching calls with me in a mentorship community for a year. I have that. It's called the Attachment Circle. If you're looking for a direct mentorship training program with me, join the Attachment Circle. All of these resources are available on my website, adamlanesmith.com. I am here to assist you guys. I am here to make your life easier. I am here to make your relationships better. I am here to help you stop feeling lonely. I am here to help you lean into better opportunities and build a life that is more fulfilling and more enriched while avoiding any pitfalls and avoiding risks, right? That is my job. I take it very seriously, and I thank you for trusting me with it. So whatever I can do to help you, please let me know. I am here to do it. Adam Lane Smith, the attachment specialist, out for the night. I will be back tomorrow night, same time, 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time. Keep in mind, we just had a time change here in the U.S., so some people overseas or in different countries, you're not used to that. 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time, current time zone. Current time, okay? Look that up online. I think it's GMT -5, okay? GMT -5. So let's connect. I'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time. Other than that, drop me your comments. I'm here to help. Tell me how I can help you. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you again tomorrow night.